my name is Fenaretti and this is the mid-year Freakout Tag. A little parenthesis before I start. Any information you might need for the Black Lives Matter movement is going to be in the description below. And also, don't forget to vote, because voting is one of the easiest ways to help make a change in the world. So my reading goal for this year is 40 books and I've already read 20. So this is the middle of the year. I think I'm doing quite well, and I do tend to read more books during the summer because I'm happier, and the happier I am, the more time I will find for books. But generally speaking, I do not want to surpass my goal because I like the comfort of just reading one book per week. I want to fully be immersed in the story. I want to reflect once I finish it. I want to have my reading slumps, like for a couple of days if I don't want to pick a new book, and I'm extremely content with the amount that I'm reading so far. Apart from that, I like to read books very critically, and because I haven't studied literature in university, because I'm a film graduate, I'm trying to learn everything that I need to know on my own. So I like to take my time reading books. Enough with this disclaimer, let's get to the questions. Question number one is, best book you've read so far? Although it's quite easy for me to understand if a book that I'm enjoying is good or not, this was quite a hard question to answer, and there's never just one book that I think is the best, but one of the best so far was The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This book I was firstly recommended when I was 16 and I just picked it up this year, and it was the perfect thing to read during quarantine. I really needed something that would transport me somewhere very far away from my bedroom. This book is brilliantly written. I love character-driven stories and I like flowery, lyrical writing, and this is just a brilliantly flawless written book. And I would 100% recommend. I really freaking love it. It was so smart. Question number two, the best sequel you've read so far. This question is kind of a tie, but I should be fair and say that Find Me by Andre Aciman was the best sequel I read this year. With sequels, it's always kind of tricky because when the original book, in this case Call Me By Your Name, is released as a standalone, writing a sequel could fall into two different categories. Write what you want to write as an author and where you want to take this story, and write in order to please the audience. Andre Aciman did kind of both. You cannot really ever achieve the iconic levels of Call Me By Your Name because Call Me By Your Name is the original, but this book is a great complement to Call Me By Your Name. I do love lyrical writing, and I feel like there's no other person that has ever captured the human consciousness as well as Andre Aciman does with every one of his characters. It is like you are in an actual human being's mind and you read their thoughts. But this book is completely different, both in tone and in setting. You follow three different perspectives. The first one is Elio's father, Samuel. The second one is very briefly Oliver, and then lastly Elio. It's really hard when you finish a first book with an ambiguous ending. It's meant to stay ambiguous forever. So this book has to change that, and it kind of ends in a very similar tone to the way that Call Me By Your Name ended, in the same kind of dreamy narration. The main criticism of this book is that everybody was annoyed about how much time we spent with Elio's father in comparison to how much time was dedicated to Elio and Oliver. To me, it's 100% purposeful how little we get to read about Elio and Oliver, because this book takes place 20 years after the first book ended. 20 years. 2 decades. The point of this book is to experience 2 decades of time of separation of two people that were never meant to be separated. So to just have only a brief couple of chapters with them together and them in the same space, it makes you fully feel the 20 years that they had to spend apart. And you do get to feel the loneliness of what it's like to know that somewhere out there, the person you're meant to be with is with somebody else. 100% would recommend. I really truly loved it. Question number 3, a new release you haven't read yet but you want to. I do not really tend to read new releases because I just want the book to be widely acknowledged first and widely loved, and then I will actually invest time on it. I don't really have an answer for that, but I suppose I've heard a lot of people talk about a beach read, which sounds like something I would like because it's about 2 authors and I'm an author. Maybe I will pick it up during the summer if I feel particularly brave. Question number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Do I even need to say anything? Of course I don't. Like, this is a book that I'm waiting for. I'm so freaking hyped. I really want the 100% escapism that's gonna come from this book, and I'm actually very excited to be reading it back in my old room when I first read Twilight. So this is gonna be one of the happiest moments of my August. So I'm very freaking thrilled about it. You cannot imagine how excited I am. Question number 5, biggest disappointment. In order to be disappointed, you need to have high expectations for something. And genuinely, if I have high expectations for something, they're justifiable. The only kind of books that disappointed me, but I did finish them, were like The Honeymooners, because a lot of people were talking about how good it is when it's actually boring, stupid plot, stupid characters, nothing is even remotely interesting about this book, not even the fluffy parts. It was just a bad book. We Are Lost and Found was another book that I read during the beginning of the year that I had to push myself through because it was just badly written and just a boring plot. And also maybe I would say The Kiss of Deception. This is like book one of a YA trilogy. It was one of Murphy's favorite trilogies. I really wanted to find that book series to get into. And by the way, if you have any book series recommendations, please comment down below. Question number 6, biggest surprise. So for that, I will have to say Penelope Douglas was a big surprise, and I found out about her from Chandler's channel. I really love her recommendations. She has made me read some of my favorite books ever. Penelope Douglas is one of those writers that I have started using as a palate cleanser, because it's not one of those books that I would read in order to better myself as a writer, but it's one of those books that are so easy to get into and so easy to finish. The moment you start reading it, you cannot put it down until you finish it. I read Birthday Girl and Punk 57, and I was just very happy to have found an author that I can use in order to get out of any reading slump. I owe everything to Chandler, because anything she ever says I take to heart, and I trusted her, and I'm happy that I did. Question number 7, favorite new author. It's kind of hard to say favorite new author. Maybe I suppose I really like Leigh Bardugo, because I loved reading the Six of Crows duology, but at the same time I know that like her previous books are not as good, and I also heard the books that were published after Six of Crows are not on the same level. And then also Donna Tartt, although I've only read one of her books, I really like her writing style, and I want to read one more of her books during the summer, so I suppose her as well. Question number 8, newest fictional crush. Unfortunately, I've begun to be a bit too old for that. I don't get crushes in fictional people anymore, but if you asked me who would be like the ideal boyfriend kind of thing that I've read as of recently, I would probably have to say like Matthias from Six of Crows, because he has this combination of somebody who's like a very noble person that wants to take care of their loved ones, and they look like they're unapproachable but they're hiding a heart of gold. I just realized that this Q&A has 14 questions, and I will not be able to have 14 fingers anyway. Question number 9, which is your newest favorite character? Probably, as of speaking, I am reading To Kill a Mockingbird, and I love Scout so much. Scout is such an interesting character, and she really reminds me of myself when I was younger, because I was a very tomboyish child. So I just really enjoy her character so far, and I'm more than halfway through the book, and I really still love her a lot. Maybe I would have to say her. And also maybe probably from the book Warhorse, which has been one of my favorite books of the year, Albert and Joey. Albert is the human, Joey is the horse. I love those two characters a lot. Question number 10, a book that made you cry. This book was a journey, okay? If you haven't read this book and you want to, just skip to this, because I want to talk about something. Okay, you gone? Right. I was 100% sure who would die in this book. When I say I was sure, I was not even questioning it, okay? I thought that Wylan was gonna die. He was the only one that gained a narration that I didn't have in the Six of Crows, and I'm like, yeah, it makes sense for him to narrate parts of this book because he's gonna die. I was so sure. And then he kept not dying. But bitch, what are you doing? Like, just die. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you cannot just pretend he's dying and then take it back. Once I realized that somebody else was gonna die by them dying, that's when I realized. I could not hold my tears. I could not believe that Leigh Bardugo would do that to me. I could not believe it. And then the next chapter, you know, the one, very small one, that's just 1 page long. Yeah, it got me, and I cried up until the end of the book. Leigh Bardugo, how dare you? What do you mean? No mourners, no funerals? How dare you? This is such false advertising. Oh my god, I was upset. Question number 11. A book that made you happy. So for that, I could not have picked anyone that was more true than this. Red, White and Royal Blue. This is just a very happy book. Okay, so the first 20 pages were very hard to get into because I was very bored. But 20 pages onwards, this book was such a freaking blast. I was so deliriously happy reading this. This is one of the fluffiest and happiest books I've ever read. Such a cute, romance, and apart from that, it's extremely hilarious. As a book, it has so many jokes you cannot imagine. I was actually laughing out loud, and this never happens to me with books. So question number 12, I don't know why I'm doing that, I'm sorry. What's the most beautiful book you've bought this year so far? I would have to go with two of the books that I have on display on my actual shelves, and that's Lost Boy by Christina Henry, which I haven't read yet because it's like meant to be a Peter Pan story, but like with Peter Pan being the villain, and I'm not up for that yet. Like, Peter Pan is my boy, and I don't want to read anything that's making him sound bad. And I would also have to say, this book, my mom bought it for me for my birthday this year, because I do collect Peter Pan books, and this is a book that I've had my eyes on for quite a while because it has like many like big inserts. Wait, this looks weird because I've still kept like the protection papers, but like it has inserts. It's just a very interactive version of the Peter Pan story, and it's just thick and nice, and I just love it. Then we have question 13, and it is, what books do you need to read by the end of this year? So the way that I track the books that I read is through my bullet journal, and basically there's only like a few books that I know that I have to read this year so far, and it's classics. So this was the list of the classics that I needed to read this year, and I'm already halfway through. As you can see, I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird right now. I have read halfway through Pride and Prejudice. Because I was reading a translation of Pride and Prejudice, it was kind of boring, and I knew that I needed to read it in its original text, so I just left it for later. But I'm kind of dreading it, you know, big books are just intimidating. Anyway, and then I have To Kill a Mockingbird, which is what I'm actually currently reading with my friend Sue, and she's a wonderful person. We're badly reading this, and her channel is amazing, and I will have it in the description down below. She's freaking adorable and so talented. She can sing, she can dance, she can draw, and she's so cute. Oh my god, go and check out her channel. And then we have, I want to read Frankenstein because I'm already very sad being in quarantine. It's hard for me to pick it up. It's just a sad book, so I will take it on holidays with me and read it there. And I also want to read The Outsiders, which is another one of those like classic books. Oh, and apart from that, I really want to read lots of Russians. I really want to explore Russian literature during the summer. I'm not sure which books I will pick up yet, but my mom has a big collection of Russian books back home, and I just want to be taught a lot of stuff by smart people. So yeah, I'm gonna read some Russians. So question number 14, favorite book community member. For me, book community can only be when people have conversations. So I cannot mention people that have never spoken to me before because they're already accomplished and we don't have conversations. I just love to watch their videos because they're entertaining. To answer the question fairly, my favorite book community members are Kieran from KDBOOKS, which is actually the first friend I made through BookTube, and also Sue from Sutan, who are the two people that I've actually spoken outside of the BookTube comments, and I really enjoy our conversations about books. That was everything. That took long, didn't it? Yeah, it did. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye! Okay, so for the post-credit scene, we need to get a bit serious right now. Okay, so this channel has mostly book-related videos, but to be honest with you, I do want to make lots of videos about movies, and especially video essays, like the one that I did right here, because I really enjoy talking about movies. I do understand that most of my subscribers are from the BookTube community, so the way that I think I will structure this is every Sunday it will be my book related video. Throughout the week, probably Thursday, it will be the day that I will be posting movie related content. I'm sorry to any inconvenience that this might cause. I really want to talk about things that I'm passionate about. I just hope it will be entertaining enough for you to watch it regardless. For those of you that like the background of my wall, commit it to memory now that you can, because I'm actually moving to Greece for the summer. And also a disclaimer, my room in Greece is basically in a time capsule because I left my room when I was 18, and since then I have not made any changes to it. I still have all of my cringy high school posters up because I want to preserve my youth, and I do not wish to change the decoration, so you would have to deal with my pink and girly room. Okay, I received a parcel from a friend, Kieran from KDBOOKS, and it was meant to be just one book from like a giveaway that he did, and the book was meant to be Disgrace, this book over here, and it has won the Man Booker Prize. But then instead of just receiving this book, I received many more. So it was like a thank you card, the yellow wallpaper, and then it was this book, which is Wonder Boys, and then it was also this book, which is Lena Wolf. And then also this book, which is The 50-Year Sword. And this is like a very interesting book that just have quotes, like so that's the only thing that it has. It's like poetry, and it has some pictures, and it's very interesting. So I I was really not expecting that because I was only meant to receive 1 book, so it was quite a shock when I realized how many of these books I actually received. So this is like so generous and so amazing, and I'm so thankful. And I will take 2 of these books with me to Greece in order to read them and thank him for it, and the rest ones I will read once I'm back. So once again, thank you a million times, Kieran. You didn't have to do that. I truly, honestly appreciate it so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.